Okay, intellectualizing your emotions is not the same thing as feeling them. So, if you grew up like me in a space where you didn't feel like you could feel your emotions in all their depths and fullness, you may have resorted to another way of observing them via intellectualization. I'm going to struggle to say that word. So, what do I mean when I say intellectualizing your emotions? When you intellectualize your emotions, you're trying to understand them from a logical point of view. You're not feeling them, you're just trying to understand them. You're breaking down what triggered the emotions, why you're feeling that emotion specifically, what actions you took because you felt that emotion, what that emotion prompts you to do. So you're trying to learn everything about the emotion from what triggered it to what it led to, but you're not feeling the actual emotion. And like I said, it's because you don't feel safe enough to feel the emotion. So let me give you an example. Yesterday I had a difficult conversation with my mom, right? And I was just trying to explain something to her that I had said to her so many times. Like, my whole family is religious, and a few years ago I started deconstructing and realized that I can't believe in God anymore. I can't believe in the Christian God. The whole religion and the system of it is just too small for me. Like, I can't fit myself into that religion anymore. So I deconstructed, right? And that was a while ago. So I've known that I don't believe in God and whatnot. I just go to church with my family because I'm living with them right now. So yeah. And I know that if I didn't go to church, the reaction that I would get from my parents, the temper tantrums they would start throwing, is something I don't care to deal with. And I'd rather just go to church and, have them believe that I still believe in this shit or whatever, right? So a while ago I came out to my mom. I was like, oh yeah, I'm not Christian, I don't believe in God. And then I told her I'm lesbian, I'm into girls, right? And I didn't come out to her because I wanted her to know that I feel vulnerable, or I feel safe enough to be vulnerable around her. I came out to her because I needed to get that shit off my chest. You know what I mean? And I also didn't want her to be confused when I started doing certain things in my life. Like at church, I'll leave early. I get ready in the morning. My dad drives me there. Luckily, my church is close enough to my house I can walk home. So I get ready early. I help set up a few things. I stay for as long as I want to, and then I leave. Because if I don't want to stay, I'm not going to stay. Part of that has also been me. I'm trying to teach myself, or I am teaching myself, and I'm learning that I have a lot more freedom than I give myself credit for. And this applies not just to me, but to basically everybody. A lot of us have a lot more freedom and a lot more control over our situations than we give ourselves credit for. So that's part of me just practicing that freedom that I haven't recognized up until this point. Like, if I want to leave, I can leave. No one's going to chase me down. Nobody cares. Anyways, where was I going with this? So I told my mom, and this was like 2 weeks ago, I think. Yeah, 2 to 3 weeks ago. I told her, yeah, so I'm agnostic and a lesbian. And I felt really good to get that out because I needed to get that out. And what she kept telling me, right, was to give myself time. And in the moment, I was like, okay, I guess she just wants me to really think about these things. And out of love and respect for her, I didn't take the advice because there's no more thinking for me to do. I know this is who I am. I hate when I put on highlighter, and it's only when I put on highlighter that my eyes want to start watering. Anyways, so what was I saying? Yeah, so basically the whole time she said she wanted to think about what she would respond to me with, because she wanted to respond with something genuine, which I did appreciate. But in the moment, the only thing she could really say to me, and she just kept saying it over and over, like, just give yourself time. These are really big labels to put on yourself. Give yourself time to think about it. And now that I think about it, it's actually kind of disrespectful for you to tell me that. And I know that's not your intention, because I always have to remember that the way I see the world and the way I see myself, and also my experiences, are all unique to me. My perspective, which is informed by my experience, is unique to me. People don't see shit the way I see shit. So when she was telling me that, I was like, okay, I guess she just really wants me to think about this, because to her it's a really big thing to say. But then we had another conversation a while ago, literally yesterday, not a while ago, yesterday. You know, she was getting frustrated because she thought that when I left the church early, mind you, it's not like I'm doing some grand exit, okay? I sit in the front pew by myself, and sometimes I leave anyways, because my younger sister, she's 7 years old, and she might want to go up to the kids' church. So she'll literally just run out of the, what is it called, the sanctuary, and then go upstairs. So sometimes I'll follow her up because she needs somebody to watch her. Or my other sister, because I have two sisters, will follow her. And then I'll just follow them and then leave. So that's, and mind you, I haven't done this many times. But I also, like, I've done it 3 times so far. Because I just didn't want to stay there, right? So I'll get up and just leave. And nobody's like, nobody's so shocked to see me go. It's not like it's abnormal for me to leave in the middle of the sermon or something, or during what we call meet and greet. It's just that I'm actually leaving the building instead of leaving the sanctuary. Whatever. So where was I? She was telling me how first she wanted to talk to my siblings because she wanted them to be more punctual when it came to getting ready for church. They do take advantage of the fact that my church is a walking distance away. So they'll get ready, they'll wake up late, get ready late, and then just walk to church, because my parents would have already drove there. But she wanted them to work on being more punctual and getting ready on time, so that they wouldn't have to walk and we could just move as one family, you know, because she's all about this unity as a family. I'm not going to get into the details of my family situation, but I will say that it's fucked up, okay? I don't care about this whole family unity thing she's trying to do, because there are people in this family who aren't going to allow that to happen. Like, you're holding on to dust here. Girl, I love you, but you're trying to put dust together and form something. That's not going to happen. Okay, so this whole family unity thing is frustrating when she's always pushing for it, because, you know, we have a complicated family situation I'm not going to get into right now, but not everybody is trying to get family unity, okay? Some of the people in this family are really fucked up, so I need you to stop trying to be God and just sit down, all right? So then she was talking to me, and she was like, oh, you know, when you're leaving church, I feel that it's, she goes in circles. One thing about my mom and a lot of people, this has become a pet peeve with me. I don't like when somebody isn't concise with period. I don't like when people aren't concise. And this is something I'm trying to work on in myself, because I'm being a hypocrite if I say I don't like when other people are concise, but I tend to be long-winded in my speech in a way that's unnecessary. Like, if you're talking a lot but there's details that need to be said, that's fine. But when you're trying to say one thing but you like beat around the bush and give unnecessary details to get there but not quite get there, that irritates me. Don't waste my time, because I already don't really want to talk to you, because I know this conversation is about to be bullshit. So just say what you want to say, you know what I mean? And that's, I'm not saying that in a disrespectful way. It's just a pet peeve of mine, especially my mom will do it where she's trying to tell me one thing, but you don't want to say that thing because, I don't know, you're scared of how I'm going to react, so you kind of beat around the bush. Like, let me give you an example. Let's say she wants me to wash the dishes, right? And I don't even think this illustrates it perfectly, but oh well. Let's say she wants me to wash the dishes, so she's like, oh, the sink is so full, I'm so tired, I want to go rest, but the sink is so full. So I'll just ask her, do you want me to do the dishes? And she's like, yes, can you do the dishes for me? Just tell me you want me to do the dishes. It's okay. I'm not going to beat you up. I'm not going to shout at you. I'm not going to scream and cry because you told me to do the dishes. I understand that a lack of emotional regulation runs in this family, but I'm going to be okay if you ask me to do something like do the dishes. And even if I said no, that's okay. But just ask me. Don't beat around the bush, right? So back to what I was saying. It took her a while, but eventually she got there. And I had to ask her. This is another thing I've learned when it comes to my mom and just people like her who want to say things but don't know how to just say it outright. I need to ask you questions. So I just asked her, okay, what about me leaving church early is irritating you? What's frustrating you? Because you're saying a lot of nonsense right now. It's a lot of fluff. I want to get to the point, the main point of what you're saying. So eventually she said that she feels it's disrespectful to God and the community, and that she thinks there's no point in me leaving early since I'm usually one of the earliest people to arrive. Like I said, I help set up certain things. So it's like, oh, you're already here. You might as well stay till the end. And it's disrespectful to God and the people there for you to be leaving early. And in my head, I wasn't getting irritated. I was just getting exhausted because, number one, nobody else cares. Like I said, it's not a new thing for me to leave the sanctuary to go do something outside of it, but I'm still in the church building. But now instead, I'm just leaving the church building. Okay? And also, there's a big point that we're missing here because you keep talking about, oh, you're disrespecting God, you're disrespecting the church, this community, da 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 da, babe. Okay, and I eventually had to say it outright to her, and I started tearing up because this shit is frustrating to me. I already told you I don't believe in God, and I know that's hard for you to. Let me make sure this is facing correctly. I know that's hard for you to take in and actually understand. I don't think you're understanding it because in her head, it's not that I don't believe in God, it's that I'm struggling with my faith. You think I'm just questioning my faith and, oh, it's okay to question your faith, but you have to go to God in prayer. No, babe. I deconstructed years ago. I have known for years at this point. I do not believe in the Christian God. Okay? This is nothing new. It's not like I deconstructed last week and I'm telling you now. No, I've known for years and I didn't tell you. Now I'm telling you. If there was any update within that time period that I needed to tell you, I would tell you. Because I'm telling you this so I can get off my chest. So I'm being honest with you. There's no detail that you're missing here. Okay? And I'm not even gonna... I didn't go into detail with her about the process of me deconstructing because that was irrelevant and it was just a personal thing. I was like, I don't need to tell you all that. You just need to know I don't believe in him. That's fine. Right? So in that conversation, I was getting tired and exhausted and irritated, low-key, because there's details that were missing here. You're telling me, oh, I'm disrespecting God, babe. I don't believe in God. And this isn't, I think to her also, because a lot of the, portrayal we see of atheists online is that they're very pessimistic people. You know, they hate all religious people. And again, I'm not even atheist. I'm agnostic. I still believe in spiritual things like manifestation and stuff like that. And I'm on my own spiritual journey. I just don't believe in the Christian God. And it's more, there's more to it than just me being on my own spiritual journey. Like, I'm kind of getting off topic now. But during my deconstruction, I was thinking about who I am as a black person. Because my parents are both Nigerian, okay? African immigrants that came to this country. So as a black person, regardless of where you're from, but specifically me being West African, when I look at it, Christianity only came to my ancestors through colonization, okay? The only way, if this God is so loving and whatnot, and again, I'm getting off topic, but we're already here, so let's get into it. If this God is so loving and whatnot, it doesn't make sense for me that because you guys like to talk about how he's God and beyond all human identifiers, but he's still a man somehow, or we use he pronouns for him, whatever. If this God is so loving and all-powerful, you had the power to bring Christianity to my ancestors in a way that didn't involve them being massacred, colonized, and erased. A lot of the culture of my ancestors had to be erased and demonized for Christianity to be instilled in my people. Okay? And this isn't just unique to Nigeria or West Africa, across the diaspora. Whether we're talking about Black Africans, Black Americans, Afro-Caribbeans, Afro-Latinas, and Hispanics, the reason why any of us practice Christianity or Catholicism or these Eurocentric religions is because of colonization and the transatlantic slave trade. They demonized the traditional spiritualities of our ancestors and then told us to believe in their spirituality. But it makes no sense. Because if the colonized people and the colonizer are praying to the same God, whose prayers is he answering? Like, think about it. And, over time I've been researching different traditions in my culture. I'm Nigerian, but both my parents are Igbo, right? So I'm Igbo. Different traditions in our culture. Like, there was one tradition that we had where twins are seen as an abomination, specifically in Igbo culture, because in Yoruba culture, which is a tribe literally next door, twins are seen as a blessing. So in pre-colonial Igbo tribes, when a woman had twins, the twins and the woman would be sent into the forest, right? That's an example of a tradition that my ancestors practiced that I wouldn't agree with. Because when I talk about this with some people think, oh, but our ancestors had things that weren't good and, that we needed to move on from. Yes, tradition, just because something is traditional doesn't mean it has to be maintained for the rest of humanity. If we realize that it's detrimental to anybody in the society, we can stop that tradition. I'm not saying that every single one of the traditions that every single one of my ancestors practiced were perfect. I'm not saying that, but I am saying that for colonizers to demonize our tradition. Oh my God, I'm getting so off topic because I was. Oh my God. Okay, I got really off topic. I started talking about how Christianity was brought to black people via colonization of the transatlantic slave trade and why that informed my deconstruction. But regardless, where were we going? I was having this tough conversation with my mom, right? And the point that we were missing in this whole conversation, she was getting frustrated because I was leaving church early, because I was disrespecting the community and God. And I'm like, the whole time I'm getting irritated because, babe, number one, I told you I don't believe in God. Number two, I told you that I'm queer. Okay, you know that I'm lesbian. Every single person in that church believes that queer people deserve to burn in hell for the rest of eternity. Our beliefs don't line up. Okay, and mind you, I grew up in this church. These people watched me grow up. So I understand that I've contributed to this community. It's contributed to me. But now I'm moving the fuck on. Okay? I'm gonna be moving out within the next year. So it's no longer my community. I don't care about disrespecting your God because I don't believe in your God. And again, this isn't coming from a place of bitterness. I'm not one of those agnostic or atheist people who hates God and hates religious people. I just don't care. And then again, with the community, you can say I'm disrespecting the community, but I don't care because that's no longer my community. And I started tearing up when I told her this, because then it had me thinking about how my parents literally believe in a religion that thinks I deserve to burn in hell because of how I love and who I love. Like, that's unfortunate. And that's been a pain that I've been dealing with, but I haven't been letting myself feel for a while, which goes back to the topic that I was talking about, not letting yourself not letting yourself feel your emotions in favor of intellectualizing them. So after that conversation, I had to go outside and I needed to journal, because I've been doing it for a while, like over a year now, where I do auditory journaling. I'm not writing down in my journal because I love writing in my journal, but sometimes the thoughts are too much and too heavy and coming too fast for me to write them. I need to say them. So I'll just go on my voice notes app and then rant about whatever I need to say, and then I'll save it as whatever it is, right? So I went outside and I started doing that. And as I was talking, and this is why it's so helpful for me. As I was talking, I realized that this pain that I'm feeling, not from the conversation itself, but the conversation was a reminder of my parents, where they stand on these issues when it comes to queer people, which includes me, and how they would rather believe in their religion that thinks I should go to hell than just accept me. And it's not even about my parents, it's about my mom specifically, I mentioned how my family situation is a little complicated, right? Like my dad, I don't really talk to him, but it's not like he's absent. He's in the house. He's emotionally absent. Okay? Like we just don't really have a relationship. He lives in my house. Like it's not like we're divorced. My parents are together. My dad lives in the house. I see him basically every day. I just don't really talk to him. Like I don't. We don't really have conversations. We don't have that casual type of relationship, right? And he's done some crazy things that have just led me to not caring about investing in that relationship anymore. So I emotionally detached from my father a while ago. I don't really care about how he feels about certain things. Mind you, I haven't come out to him because although I don't care about his opinion, he is not the type of person that I'm going to tell that I am queer and agnostic as I am living in his home. Okay? I'm not going to tell him. Like there are certain people that you have the discernment to know, okay, I don't need to tell you this detail about myself right now. That's where I stand with him. So it's like, even if I told you, I have an idea of how you would react, but I don't care. I just don't feel like I'm in a position right now to come out to you. But I thought, okay, I can come out to my mom because I need to get this off my chest to somebody, right? So whatever. My point is, I'm aware that both of them believe this, but it hurts more with my mom because we have an actual relationship. I've emotionally invested into my relationship with my mother. I care about you. I really do love you. And I want to have a relationship with you, but I can't suppress the parts of myself that you don't like so that you can pretend they don't exist and enjoy the parts of myself that you do like. I can't do that. I've made a commitment to myself that I'm going to be authentic about who I am. And that goes beyond like people make sexuality and your religious beliefs such a huge deal. That's a fraction of my identity. I don't even think about my sexuality or the fact that I'm agnostic on a daily basis. I just am. You know what I mean? I don't think about my hair color every day. I just have my hair color. Sure, there are certain traits about yourself that you think about every day, usually because you're reminded about it. Like I live in the suburbs, so I don't even think about the fact that I'm black every day, but I am reminded about it quite often. But it's not like one of those traits. It's just something about me that exists, that I'm aware of, that I know of, but I don't think of all the time. It's just a part of who I am, and that's it. So to me, it's not that big of a deal, but to you it is, and that's unfortunate. It really is. So where was I? I went outside and I was auditory journaling, so I'm just speaking into my voice notes app, and I started crying. And I got frustrated that I was crying because when I was crying, I couldn't talk properly. And again, I'm talking into my voice notes app. That's how I'm choosing to journal in this moment. So it's kind of making it hard for me to do that because I'm trying to express what I need to say. But you know what? Sometimes I don't need to say it. I just need to cry. And in that moment, I was thinking about it and I realized, hey, for a long time, you haven't let yourself feel emotions. You intellectualize them. And when I was journaling, that's low-key what I was doing. I was breaking it down. I was like, oh, this is how my mom feels. She feels this way because of this. And I know she's not going to drop this belief because of this. So now that's annoying because I'm like this and that's making me feel like this. So I'm breaking down the whole situation. What triggered the emotion? What's been triggering the emotion? And what this emotion is prompting me to do. But I'm not letting myself feel the emotion. And I realized that in the moment, and I was like, okay, I need to let myself cry right now. I need to let myself bawl my eyes out and just release this. Because emotion is energy in motion. If you don't let that energy flow, it's just going to stay in you. You're going to repress it until it eventually bursts. Okay? The pressure buildup from you not letting that energy flow is just going to lead to you having an outburst eventually, okay? Because everybody has their limits. You're not going to repress forever. It's going to come out eventually. So, like I said, in that moment, I was like, okay, I need to let myself cry. So I let myself cry, and I was still talking as I was crying, but I just had to let myself really, truly feel the pain And it wasn't even hard, because when you need to cry, you don't need to force yourself to cry. The tears just come out. So I was just letting myself cry. Sorry, I'm looking up because the weather is so nice today. It's completely clear skies. Like, look, it's so gorgeous. Okay. So I just let myself cry because I needed to cry in that moment. And it felt really nice in the end, actually. And usually I feel more refreshed after journaling, regardless of if I cry or not. But recently I've been crying a lot when I do my auditory journals. And that's led me to realize that there's a lot of emotions I'm not letting myself feel. And growing up, I didn't feel safe enough to express those emotions, but now I'm still in the same household. I'm still living with the same people. Like, this is the same fucked up family that I grew up with. But instead of waiting, to feel like I have the space to feel all these emotions, I'm giving myself the space. You know, part of my, what do you want to call it, my spiritual journey right now, but just also self-growth, is realizing that I have a lot more autonomy and freedom than I give myself credit for. So even if I'm not in a space where I can express myself openly to everybody in my household, I can express myself to me. I can let myself feel the emotions. I don't need anybody to witness me doing so. I don't need to vent to anybody in this house. It would be nice if I could, but if I know that I can't, what was I saying? It would be nice if I could, but if I know that I can't, I'm not going to just repress them, because for a long time that's what I was doing. I was repressing them and then just moving on because it felt like such a hassle to deal with them. Another thing, I can't just say it's because of my family situation and me not feeling safe enough. Ooh, I like my henna. I did some henna yesterday, it looks so cute. But anyways, I can't just say it's about me not feeling safe enough to express them in my house around my family. It was also just the human instinct to avoid pain, okay? All these negative, or I don't want to say negative emotions because it's just energy trying to leave my body. But all these emotions that are hard to feel, like sadness and disappointment, I didn't want to endure the pain of feeling them. So I didn't feel them. I just repressed them. That's what I did. So part of it was that I didn't feel like I had the space to express them, but also another part of it was that I just didn't want to feel the pain of those emotions. But what that led to, or not just that, but what it contributed to, was just me falling into a depressive cycle. You know, for a while I was dealing with a really, really deep depression where I was constantly like on a low grade, like I was just feeling depressed. And the best way I can describe feeling depressed, or not feeling, because it's more than a feeling, it's a state of being at that point. It's like if a car, imagine you have a pipe that's blowing out toxic smoke into your house, but it's not blowing out a lot. It's consistently on, but whenever it's on, it's just blowing out a little bit of smoke, just a little bit, but it's gonna build up. And eventually your whole house is full of this toxic smoke, this toxic gas, and it just gets worse and worse. But you don't notice it because it builds up gradually. Like eventually it gets to a point where you're like, oh shit, there's just smoke and smog all over my house. But it builds up to that point. So as it's happening, as it's building up, you don't realize it's building up. You just get used to it. You know what I mean? Until eventually it's so different from how clean the air in your house used to be before that you actually realize, oh shit, there's a bunch of smoke in my house. But at that point you get so used to it that you just don't change it. And maybe you get addicted to the smell of the smoke. You know? Maybe that's not the best example. Maybe a better example would be getting addicted to cigarettes or smoking. I mean, I've never had a cigarette, but I can imagine that it doesn't feel great the first time you smoke a cigarette, but eventually you get used to that discomfort and you find pleasure in the action, right? So when it came to my depression, right, I got comfortable in it. And another thing that people don't realize is that we get addicted to our emotions because they're familiar. The brain doesn't care how detrimental or helpful or beneficial an emotion is, or a feeling is, or a state of being is. If it's familiar, it's always going to go after that. So for me, this state of being where I was constantly stressed out, I hated myself, I hated my environment, and I was just feeling so worthless. That was so normal to me that even though it wasn't good for my mental health at all, and it led me to do unfortunate things to myself, because it was familiar, that's how I kept feeling. I didn't work to get help or to feel better because it was familiar to me. But that state of being, the whole time that I was depressed, I wasn't even feeling emotions. I was numbing. Like, I felt numb because, like I said, I wasn't feeling emotions. I was intellectualizing every single emotion. And I feel like I'm getting off topic because I said this is about intellectualizing emotions rather than feeling them. And I'm saying a whole bunch of words, but you know what? We'll be fine. So, that entire time that I was dealing with my depression, part of it was just me feeling numb. Like, I was disassociated during that entire period of my life. I wasn't really feeling anything. Part of the reason why I wasn't able to feel joy was because I wasn't letting myself feel anything else. I recently saw this video of a lady, and she was talking about how you can't selectively repress emotions. So if you're repressing sadness and discomfort and pain, you're gonna repress happiness and joy and gratitude. You repress everything. So if you're repressing your anger and sadness, you're repressing your joy and gratefulness. You can't feel everything to its fullest. And it's also that law of, what is it? It's in one of the 7 Hermetic principles, or I don't even remember where it's from, but it's like the law of duality, where the potential you have to go in one direction is the potential you have to go in the other, right? So when it comes to not allowing yourself to feel your emotions, if you are not letting yourself feel sadness, your sadness that is being triggered by whatever, at the deepest level, okay, however severely this emotion is being triggered, if you don't let yourself feel it at the deepest level, you're not going to be able to feel happy emotions at that deep level. You know what I mean? So it's like, you know how a wave will go up and down, right? So if you have a line, a baseline, and a wave is going above and below it, just as far as it goes above, it goes below. The altitude of the wave is the same whether it's above or below the baseline, right? So if you're not letting yourself go deep below, you're not going to let yourself go high above. That's why everybody who's in a successful position, and I'm not even talking about economically, like, oh, you're rich, but if you're just in a good mental state, you know that it took work to get there. Where I am today, the mental and emotional stability that I've cultivated for myself right now, I wouldn't be here if I didn't go through the experiences that I went through. And they were really painful. They were really hard. But that pain, that really deep pain, allowed me to feel really real joy. So now when I feel joy, when I feel gratitude, it's real and it's deep and it's in my whole body, because I eventually, it took a long time, but I eventually allowed myself to feel that pain that was being triggered in my whole body. So I hope what I'm saying is making sense, but it's like, if you don't let yourself feel everything to its fullest, you're not going to be able to feel the good things to their fullest, because they are part of everything. You are everything. When we talk about source or consciousness or God or whatever you want to call it, it is everything. It's not just the good and pretty things. It's not just the good parts of life. Life isn't just the good things that happen to you. It's also the things that hurt and the things that were painful to go through. It's all a part of life. So if you don't let yourself acknowledge the painful parts of your life and you repress those parts, you're going to repress the good parts of your life as well. You're not going to be able to acknowledge and feel the good parts of your life and the emotions that come with them, because you're not allowing yourself to feel the rest of the emotions that are part of the human experience. And for me, the way that I was repressing was just obviously repressing emotions, but also trying to intellectualize them. The closest I got to feeling emotions was intellectualizing them. And this is actually something I've seen a lot of people do. I observe it a lot, not in real life, honestly, but when it comes to people online. Like this trend of people using ChatGPT as their therapist. It's like, and I'm not criticizing them, because you're not dumb or a bad person for using ChatGPT as your therapist. People don't have adequate mental health resources, so they resort to whatever they have. And in this day and age, unfortunately, that is chat. So anyways, people will, and you'll see people post like the conversations that they have with ChatGPT as their therapist. So they'll be talking about this event that triggered this emotion that led to them feeling like this, and then it led them to do this. And it's like you're breaking it down really logically. Okay, you're breaking down every step of the process, how we got here, where we're going from here, what triggered you to get here. Okay, like every part of the process, you're breaking it down with ChatGPT. You know what? And ChatGPT is just a mirror. It tells you what you're telling it. So like it reflects what you're telling it, because ChatGPT doesn't have any innate moral values. The only biases that you see in AI are the biases of the people who created it and the content that they're using to train it. But AI in and of itself doesn't have any biases. It's still not neutral, because like I said, the content that is being used to train it has biases. But the AI itself isn't biased. You get what I mean? Okay. So ChatGPT isn't gonna, like, if you tell a friend something, they're gonna have their own opinion based on their life experiences, on how they're seeing it, and the advice that informs the advice they're gonna give you. But when it comes to ChatGPT, it doesn't have that. It's just saying what you said to it back to you, but using more academic words. So let's say this person is breaking down their emotions. Oh, my boyfriend cheated on me, and it was frustrating, and it felt like he was abandoning me, and it reminded me of this time when I was a kid and my parents would do this, and it made me feel the same way. So if you tell that to ChatGPT, it's like, oh, he's feeding into this pattern of abandonment that you feel, and that's informing this pattern you have in your mind. And I don't know if I'm saying these things right. I hope I'm articulating this properly or clearly enough, but I hope you get what I mean. Like, ChatGPT isn't saying anything new when you're talking about it, your emotions with it. When people are trying to intellectualize their emotions with ChatGPT, it's not saying anything new to you. It's just saying exactly what you said with better wording, which makes it a bit more clear for you. So sure, maybe you understand a little bit more about your situation, but does that change it though? Does that change it though? If I drew a square onto a piece of paper and I understand, oh, this is a square, it has all equal sides, it has 4 corners, each angle is 90 degrees, da 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 da. Okay, I know everything there is to know about a square, but it's still a square. I'm gonna have to cut pieces of the paper and fold them up to make it a cube if I want it to be a cube. But once I draw the square, it's still a square. Like, I can understand everything there is to understand about squares. It's still a square. I don't know if that's a good example. I love to make analogies or examples like this, and it's reminding me of Sincere from Love Island, because people talk about how his metaphors are so bullshit. I'm not even gonna get into that show because that show is a fucking social experiment. But yeah, it's just reminding me of him, and that's really frying me right now. But wow. Like, I hope you get what I'm saying though. Like, if you understand every part of your situation, no matter how well you understand it, It doesn't change the situation or the emotions that you're feeling. You just have to let yourself feel the emotions, right? Like when it came to the conversation I had with my mom, let me adjust the camera real quick. When it came to that conversation I was having with my mom, there's no part of the situation with her that I don't understand. Okay, I know that for her, these beliefs, when it comes like the collection of beliefs that inform her religion, spirituality, whatever, the fact that she believes in Christianity and everything that comes with, these beliefs are so deeply ingrained in her mind that she's not gonna let them go just so that she can accept her daughter for who she is, because her beliefs tell her that who I am, hold on, me being agnostic, me being lesbian, whatever, that that those are both demonic, I guess, because it goes against her religion. So she's not going to just deconstruct her religion out of nowhere now because I told her these things about myself. Those beliefs are so deeply ingrained in her mind that she's not willing to start questioning them because I am contradicting those beliefs. You know what I mean? So I understand that. I know why she's not going to accept me, or in this moment she doesn't accept me. I understand why. And I sympathize with her because I can imagine how hard it is to see your child go against the beliefs that have informed your entire life in a way that scares you, because it's blasphemous in the Christian religion, I guess, to say you don't believe in God and then be homosexual. Like, that's a sin, right? So to her, I guess it's a little scary that, oh, I'm saying I believe in these things. And when she told me, oh, give yourself time, it's because she thinks I'm making this decision out of nowhere. You know, she wants me to really, really think about it and maybe I'll come to a better conclusion. I've been thinking about it for years, though. There's no more time to give myself. That's just who I am. There's parts of yourself that when you realize them, you're gonna know are the true parts of who you are. You don't need to think about it too much. You just know, oh yeah, this is me. This is for me. When your intuition is strong enough and you're willing to prioritize self-actualization over pleasing other people, then you're gonna give yourself the space to listen to your intuition and realize this is for me. This is an accurate representation of who I am authentically, right? So like I was saying, I understand why she can't be tolerant of these parts of me. That doesn't change the fact that it hurts, though. You know what I mean? And I know, like, I'm not the first queer person in the world to have religious parents who don't accept them for who they are. That's not a unique experience at all, especially if you're African. Fuck, like, just being black in general, the black community is so you know, as amazing as our people are, the majority of us are low-grade coons, unfortunately. Christianity makes a lot of us really homophobic, and the internalized homophobia in the black community is so deeply ingrained, which is unfortunate because there is historical records of pre-colonial African societies having fluid identities, you know, feminine men, masculine women, and etc., etc. Like, that's not new. Queerness is not new to Africa. It's not an abomination to the continent or to the people of Africa or to black people outside the continent. We have always been queer. Every queer people have always existed. I'm getting off topic now, but I'm just making a point. Like, this is nothing new. But like I said, there's no part of my mom not accepting me that I don't understand. I understand where she's coming from. I know the fear that she's dealing with right now, and it's like, I get why you feel this way. It still fucking hurts, though. It does. It hurts that you keep telling me to give myself time because you think this is some type of phase or something I've convinced myself of to be different. It hurts that you don't see this as a true part of me. It hurts that even if you did, that would only scare you more because you know with your religious beliefs you can't accept that part of me. Like, it hurts and it's really frustrating. And I had to cry about it in that moment. And I had to realize, okay, I can't keep breaking it down and understanding every aspect of the situation because I already understand it. I'm living it, okay? And I already have the habit of intellectualizing things. There's no part of this that I don't understand. It still hurts though. So I just had to let myself feel that hurt and feel that pain. And more people need to do that. I see this habit a lot in, I don't know what was going on, but a few months ago on social media, everybody was obsessed with the eldest daughter trope. And I think part of it was just us realizing as a society how how much we need eldest daughters. Like how much eldest daughters contribute to the society. Like eldest siblings from families where they had to take a parental position, but specifically eldest daughters because of how being the eldest sibling who has lacking parents is different when you're a boy and a girl, because regardless of your specific family situation, society's expectations of you are different, right? So, yeah. So a while ago, people were talking about eldest daughters this, eldest daughters that. There was a lot of therapy speak about, the emotional patterns of eldest daughters and whatnot. And something that I kept seeing people mention, indirectly or directly, was intellectualizing emotions instead of feeling them. And that's a common thing. It makes sense. Shit, I do it. I'm an eldest daughter. I'm the eldest daughter in an African household. Like, that's a fucking experience, okay? That is a fucking experience. My parents are Igbo, so in Igbo we call it Ada. When you're the eldest daughter, they call you Ada. Being an Ada, that's an experience, okay? That is an experience. Oh my god, like genuinely. And it was interesting seeing people voice and put a name to this phenomenon that I have been experiencing, not even phenomenon, to this pattern that I've been performing basically my entire life. And I was like, yeah, it actually makes a lot of sense for this to be a common thing amongst eldest daughters, because if you're constantly, the overall understanding is that you're the third parent, so you have a lot of responsibilities. You're taking care of your siblings, also taking care of yourself. You're growing up in this family, so you're going to school. There's a lot of things to do, right? So it's not just about being in a familial space where you don't feel like you can vent to somebody. It's also just about feeling like you don't have the space or the time to deal with your emotions. Your emotions feel like a burden, okay? So you repress them. You repress all of them. So it's a combination. When it comes to me specifically, I can't speak for other people, but when it comes to me specifically, intellectualizing my emotions instead of feeling them, there's a combination of things that led me to that pattern, right? It was, I don't feel safe enough to express myself to anybody in this family. Then I don't feel like I have the space or time to do so because I'm constantly dealing with other people's issues. I'm trying to take care of other people. And then I am also running away from the pain of uncomfortable emotions, which all of these things then led me to repressing my emotions. And the closest I got to actually feeling them was intellectualizing them. And like I said in the beginning, when I say intellectualize, it just means breaking down, like you're thinking about your emotions and what triggered them in a logical way. You're understanding every aspect of the emotion and what led to it and what it prompts you to do, but you're not feeling the emotion. Like, if you're in a situation, somebody took an ice cream cone from you that you just bought and it makes you feel sad, you're like, yeah, I know why I feel sad. I'm feeling sad because this person did this to me, and that's a really frustrating situation, but then you're not letting yourself feel sad about it. That's basically what it is. You know what I mean? So for me, it was a combination of things that led me to that pattern, but I developed that pattern. And in one way, it's not a horrible thing. It's when you're only allowed, hold on, the chair that I'm sitting on is acting up. But anyways, it's not a horrible thing to be able to intellectualize your emotions. It's when you do that instead of feeling them, because you can do both. You can understand your emotions and then feel them. In fact, intellectualizing your emotions can be really helpful because it helps you understand the situation that you're in. And if you want to improve your situation, you have to understand it. You need to be aware of it. You know what I mean? Awareness is the first step to any change. So it's not bad to intellectualize your emotions. It's actually quite a good thing to do so. But when you only intellectualize them and you don't feel them, that's when it becomes a problem. Because the emotions are still there, you're just repressing them now. You know what I mean? Like for me, I find it really easy to empathize with other people and understand their situations now because I can break down the situation the way that I've been doing for myself my whole life. So I'm able to understand where other people are coming from, you know. I'd like to say I'm emotionally mature. No, I am emotionally mature. It's not an option. Like I said, if you're an eldest daughter, you don't have the option to not be emotionally mature. You need to know how to emotionally regulate. Hey, your regulation may not be the healthiest. You may not regulate in the healthiest ways. Regulation for you might just be repression, but you have to learn how to emotionally regulate because you're forced to grow up fast and be mature, and that comes with emotional regulation. So, like all these things that shaped who I am, in a way, I see them as blessed. Ooh, like I can see them as blessings now because they've given me skills that are really helpful in just adult life as you're getting older. The way that I acquired those skills, was it ideal? Maybe not, but hey, I have them now, so I'm grateful for that. Okay, so in conclusion, because I've been saying a whole lot, you just need to let yourself feel your emotions and express them. So go journal. Sometimes it feels like a burden for me, like I don't want to sit down and write, so that's why I do auditory journaling. Shit, recording yourself like this could be a form of journaling for you. Just recording your emotions somehow to get it out. You just have to feel them because breaking them down and trying to understand them, yes, that can be helpful, but if you're doing that instead of feeling them, the emotions are still going to be there. You just got to get them out. You got to express them somehow.